Cody, go get Alicia. Cody. 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 Get Alicia. Abby out.
That's it.
Me too. Still pouring.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to introduce Commander Craig Gilmer, Commanding Officer, USS Alaska Gold.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I don't have anything specifically prepared. I just wanted to pass on a few things here from Senior Chief Wright, just to relay what him having to report my crew meant to me. I can tell you that when I first took command back in February 2014, and he followed shortly thereafter, about the same time, probably one of the most important things from my perspective, from a commanding officer of the Elizabeth submarine, is what's going to help me sleep at night when I'm underway. All right, knowing that I had Senior Chief Wright over there in charge of this band of MPs, as well as standing the watch up there, as diving off the watch, taking care of things on the mid-watch, etc. Right, that in and of itself allowed me to sleep very well at night, knowing that the missiles were well taken care of, the ship was well taken care of. And that's not something I know that every commanding officer could say. Second thing is the contributions of Senior Chief Wright can be seen over here lined up outside the pavilion with the band of missile technicians over there. The legacy that he's created here aboard the ship, aboard Alaska, aboard everywhere else he's been, right, you can see it over there in the fact that they do it right, they get it right, they're professionals in what they do, and I can tell you I can't ask for a better missile technician division and better leaders for my missile technicians than I had than Senior Chief Wright. So Senior, I want to personally say thank you for your contributions here to the ship in Alaska. Alicia, Alex, Abby, thank you for putting up with everything that we've had him do, both myself and the Navy at large for the last 26 years. I know it's been tough, and I appreciate everything that you've done to support.
Thank you, Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present Senior Chief Wright CDAD, Senior Chief Samuel Delagrande, United States Navy, retired.
Thank you for inviting me down here, Chad. It's a great honor, an amazingly great honor to be a member or be a participant in your retirement ceremony. I served on the USS Ohio way back in 1991 with Senior Chief Wright, which I'll call him Chad from this point on. And I was screwed with, assigned to be a CDAD. Since that time, I went on to other things. I stayed in the Navy for about 15 years. I got out and got a job at a place called NSWC Dahlgren. A few people in here know me from that role. It's always allowed me to keep in touch with him because we support missile techs in the fleet. So everywhere he goes, he always has a number that he can call and get the help that he's looking for. Now, nothing makes you feel older than seeing your buddies retire. I've been on a lot of these in the last couple of years. We're going to say that we're going to look at the bright side and say at least these aren't funerals. I met Chad back when he was a young man, and so was I. I had a lot of dark in my hair back then. And Chad had hair. I was on Maryland for a couple patrols at that point, qualified second class petty officer. And he showed up. And I'm like, who's this skinny dude from the sticks, Indiana? Every time I walked in the room, I could hear banjo music proceeding. One of my favorite things today is to think back over our careers and think about the stupid things that we did. Sorry, I'm using my phone. I rode a motorcycle down here, so I didn't have time to print my thing. I live in Virginia, so it was a nice little ride. The sailors in the crowd know that guy somewhere in that division that probably, in their minds, isn't cut out for this job. This is a very important job, maintaining and launching nuclear weapons. Well, that was Chad and myself back then. The stories are numerous. We used to get a lot of, hey, shipmates. Is that a term that you young guys know, hey, shipmate? It means one of two things. Oh, it means two things specifically. Number one, there's a chief or above right behind you. And number two, you screwed something up. So, hey, shipmate wasn't a good thing. We had a cob, our first cob together, Master Chief McKinney. Probably the hardest man that ever rode a boat. Hardest man I ever met before or after, and I've been in the Navy for 25 years. We were not smart enough to realize when we were standing camp in MCRP that his office was just below us, and he could hear everything we said. Do not call your cob Snaggletooth, because he had a messed up girl, right? And expect not to suffer serious repercussions. About a cob. He was a A-gang cob, too. We spent a lot of time roving Tube 13. Mr. Texan here will tell you Tube 13 is the most secure tube in this part. Is that still a good joke? Or? Yeah. Our coup de grace, the best story I have from my 25 years in the Navy. We took it to the whole next level, right? On the submarine, the welders have to build tents to protect the rest of the submarine from any sparks that are cast off from whatever job they're doing. Well, we built a nice welding tent. Let me back up 1 second. If this guy cleaned for more than 10 minutes during a 4-hour field day, our chief would have had a heart attack. Matter of fact, he probably had a couple. We built a welding tent in this compartment upper level between the tubes. It was beautiful. We used Herculate, the material they use. It's like a heavy, thick plastic. And we put a nice roof over it. We put a nice little winding or serpentine passageway that you had to crawl through to get in there. We also had an escape route. We figured with the serpentine passageway, we could hear anybody that would be in there to catch us. And we were using that place to hide from field day, right? We needed a place to sleep when the rest of the ship was cleaning. Well, he had to watch one day. We got away with it for about 4 weeks, but he had to watch one day. You hear anybody coming, wake me up. He fell asleep on watch. I look up, and my LPO, Jim Hartley, is looking at us. I was going to do this for you, but I'm a little nervous, but I remember the look clearly. What are you guys doing in here? You can't explain that. So I guess that's a demerit for falling asleep on our field day watch, right? Jim Hartley is currently has a title as a civilian as the chief engineer for General Dynamics Mission Systems in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. They're the ones that manufacture our fire control system. I hear that story about every 3rd month. That's his favorite story. So when he tells it to the boss, it's not very good for my opportunities for promotion. Now I'm going to catch my place here. We used to hang out. We were also neighbors in Silverdale Heights Apartments. Not too much to tell there. We played a lot of cards.
Watch the Cowboys win a Super Bowl.
We also made the newspaper on one of our antics. However, Colin, I'm not going to tell that story here. That's, I said that just to make him worry for the rest of the day.
Later.
You made it, buddy. I'm extremely proud of you. It's especially important to recognize his family, especially for us old, salty, gray-haired sailors, in looking back and knowing the sacrifices they had to endure. Because of my civilian position, I got to work with him a lot. We got to travel a lot together, both to Bangor and down here to Kings Bay. So we spent a lot of time during those weeks catching up, going to our place pub in Bangor, singing some karaoke and getting wrecked. We're down here, you know, at the Weed Pub having a bunch of Guinnesses. Those are great times. It's great to keep in touch with people that you were young with. Old man. I take a lot of personal pride. I mean, you've all sat up here and heard all the great things they wrote about him. Every one of them's true. I take personal pride in knowing I helped kind of kick that off for him. I don't want to get too serious, because I'm a big sap and I'll start tearing up. I'm good. We learned a lot of lessons. We were young and stupid. If it wasn't for our chiefs and officers forgiving us for a lot of things, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to grow up and become somebody. I think that if I was to give any advice, I would give a couple pieces. Number one, for the chiefs that are still going to remain after Chad leaves, please temper your leadership and allow your sailors to recover from mistakes and move on and grow up themselves. They aren't too serious. And for the young guys, square it away, get with the program, and you're getting the other side of those shipmates in a minute. Don't blink, because you'll be up here for your retirement ceremony in a minute. I wish Chad the greatest on his retirement looking forward, and I hope to work with him for the next 25 years. Lastly, because Chad's family's here, I have a amazing ability to recollect events that did not occur. It's like I deny everything I just said. And I hope that I was a little bit funnier than the captain, because he was pretty good. All right, thank you very much.
It will be a great pleasure to present Senior Chief Chad Wright.
Amazingly, I'm good. If you guys have bet in the first 10 minutes I was going to cry, you guys are losing miserably, because I haven't shed a tear yet. It's coming. It will happen at some point, but as of right now, I'm doing pretty good. I'm enjoying being here. I am overwhelmed by the response of the people in the VFW. I see a lot of old shipmates. I see a lot of current shipmates. I see a lot of family. I see a lot of friends. It's amazing. I am honored to be here with you. I'm honored that you came here and thought enough about me to be here. I know that everybody's got a busy schedule. You guys are preparing for the next patrol, which is coming up soon, preparing for whatever, doing whatever, spending time with your family, and I appreciate everybody for being here. I want to thank Brian Dobler for emceeing this ceremony. I knew that he could roll with the punches, and when things didn't necessarily go right, he made it seamless to the audience. He is a great chief of the boat. The effort that he put into my ceremony Top notch. Wouldn't expect anything less. That's why I asked him to be here to do that. He's a great chief of the boat. You guys are all on the crew are fortunate to have him. And I know he's a little angry sometimes. You know, he kind of acts like the Tasmanian devil. You know, if you guys could imagine, you know, the Tasmanian devil in a poopy suit. But I'll tell you, all you sailors on the boat, and I'll tell you, there ain't nobody on the boat that cares about you more than Brian Dobler. He's an awesome chief of the boat, and I was proud to serve with him. Thanks, Brian. I want to thank the captain for being here to be my retiring officer for my ceremony. Fellow Hoosier, native of Indiana, and you guys can read that in his background. And, you know, it's my retirement ceremony, and I can say whatever I want about anybody, so I'm going to say something about the captain. I knew I was going to have a good tour on Alaska when, and all my MTs are going to laugh about this story, but when fire control system is an electronic system that runs on the crappiest ventilation system on the planet. It is terrible. And refit, I don't know, all the old MTs, if you've taken a screwdriver to the transducers in the MCC fan room, you know what I'm talking about. Well, we had some on the Alaska that was submarinered. That's what I'm going to use, that term. It was submarinered with some temporary springs, lock wire, who knows what else to keep it, maintain a temperature, and so in refit, you know, you take down the control air system, you bring it back up, and fire control got hot. And I just happened to be on duty, and you know, as a submariner, you tend to submariner things. So I figured out how to make this transducer work with the stir stick. And really, you know, when you become a senior chief, they don't let you use tools like you used to, you know. And I always said, you know, my division, they know that senior chief has 2 authorized tools I can use. One of them is a stir stick, and the other one's a hammer. But when I put this stir stick in the transducer, next morning I go tell the captain, I said, Captain, I put a stir stick in the transducer to make it work. He's like, well, let me see. And he climbed in the back of the fan room, looked at it, yep, right a temporary standing order, and we operated for full patrol on a stir stick. So stir sticks are absolutely required. You know, the other thing I'll say about the captain that is not normal, and extraordinary as a commanding officer, is the day that he fixed the EM log. We had EM logs that did some work in refit, and we get out to sea, and we get a suspicion that we're wired backwards. Actually confirmed that by putting on a vacuum belt and got the ship going backwards on the surface, and realized that it indeed is wired backwards. I don't know how many days you spend in your stateroom looking through prints, but he was in his stateroom. He had diagrams. He figured out how to wire it backwards internal to the hull to make it work. You know, in my my nickname, you know, as a commanding officer, submariners do what they need to do to keep their ship doing their mission. And Commander Governor is one of those captains that's not afraid to do what he needs to do. I would kind of give an analogy as kind of a cowboy. He's a captain that is not afraid to do the right thing to keep his ship at sea and his crew. And it's been a pleasure to serve with you. Thanks, sir. All right. I want to thank Captain Hall for his speech. You know, when Captain Hall and I were squadron together, and we transferred about the same time, had the same going away party. When he got up and we kind of got to say goodbye to the squadron staff, and what he said about me hit me somewhere. And I said, wow, people really feel that way about me? And my son, very inspired, he's like, Dad, is that true? But I appreciate the words. I appreciate you being here. Another great commanding officer as a deputy at squadron. Definitely showed that you care about people. And that's why I asked you to be here, because people is what's important in the Navy. I want to thank my side boys for being here today. Specifically, I got Jim Murray out there, Senior Chief Jim Murray on the USS Maryland. Jim and I served on the Alaska the first time I was on the boat. I showed up, and actually Alan Probst was back there. Thanks, Alan. That's why I came there. And Jim was there with me. He was just a young chief at the time. I don't know, he's an old senior chief now, it looks like. And he's actually going to be in my role on Maryland. I'm going to lead your ship through the day so. I wish I could be there with you, honestly. It's a lot of fun. I wish the best of luck to you. And that's where you earn your money at. Right. Thank Jason Estrada. Thank Toby Denton, my current sidekick. Thanks for being there with me. Thanks for keeping a hold of these guys and making them what they are today. I want to thank Josh Rex for staying and watch. Me and Josh and I stood a lot of watch together. And you know what, I'll tell you that Josh is probably the best chief of the watch that I've ever served with. And that's why I asked him to be here today. Thanks for being here, Josh. Little Darren Collins down there. He's almost a mini-me, I would say. He's a little shorter. He's got about the same hairline. He needs to find a big in his repertoire. Your potential and where you're going in the Navy, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to watch. I'm glad to have you here, and I wish you all the best of luck. Keith back there, thanks for being here on a short notice. Thanks for sitting there on a sore knee. I appreciate it. And also, the food that we're going to have later tonight, by 5:30, 6 o'clock. Thank Keith and the entire CS division on the Alaska for making that. Also, I want to thank Professor Jones over here. He cooked all the barbecue that we're going to have later tonight. Thanks for your effort. Definitely recognize, I appreciate it. The first group of people that I want to thank, besides the people that I've already thanked, that's pretty good. I want to thank the veterans of the United States of America. Without the veterans, without the people that have served before me, the people that are currently serving, I would not be able to do a 26-year career in the Navy. I would not be here without you. None of us would be here without you. There's all kinds of veterans, all kinds of people in uniform, past people that have served. My dad, my aunt, my stepdad, my father-in-law. Thank you for serving. Thank you for allowing all of us to be here. I want to thank the VFW Post, Commander Sean Farrell, for the use of the facility, for the setup, for the camaraderie over the last couple years that I've been part of the VFW. All of my comrades as part of the VFW, Buck, Pat back there, Chris, Quinn, I'm kind of looking out there all the VFW, Ben, Rhonda, I see Rhonda, I don't see Ben. A lot of you guys, first and foremost, thanks for taking care of my wife while I was gone to sleep. I don't know if these last 2 years here on the Alaska would have been as successful without having the support network that she had through our comrades and our friends here at the VFW, and I would like to say thank you for that. I'm sure that veterans are always going to be a part of my life. I like being around veterans, I like being in the VFW, and definitely Alicia and I will be there. So Sam kind of alluded to where I came from, and I came from southern Indiana, small town. grew up, was a C student, nothing extravagant, typical underachieving, what turns into being good MTs, I think. I've seen a lot of commonality with some great MTs that were underachievers. My mom and dad, I want to thank my mom. Mom, I have some gift for you. Hopefully the ushers are queuing up. It's time to get mom's flowers. You think you can hear me back there? And my stepdad, John. I also have a one for you if they remember to bring that. Mom, thanks for your love and support. Thanks for being dedicated and devoted to me and raising me to do what I have done today. One thing that I will always remember is as a young 17-year-old in a hotel on my way to boot camp. And I'll be honest, I was scared shitless. I had never been on an airplane until the day that I flew to boot camp. First time on an airplane. I had traveled to Minnesota and Florida. Cincinnati a bunch with my dad. But, and I've talked to my dad. I've spent a lot of time with him the last couple of days, and he told me, he said, son, I didn't really think that you had it in you to make it in the Navy. You never got out of bed, you're kind of lazy. I was really worried that you weren't going to make it. And, what my mom and dad gave me were definitely the tools to succeed in life that I've expounded on, and I couldn't have done what I did without you. So back to the hotel with my mom. I'm scared shitless getting ready to go to boot camp, and mom says, son, you're going to be fine. He said, you have strong roots. It was kind of an inside joke because we used to love the movie The Karate Kid, and there was a scene in that movie where Mr. Miyagi tells the Karate Kid that he's got strong roots, and my mom gave you that speech. She says I cried. I really don't think I did. But thank you, Mom. John, thanks for your support over the last 20 or so years that you've been with my mom. We got to go to some races together, got to make some stuff, make some furniture. Definitely enjoyed that time. I want to thank my dad. My dad's my hero. He's my favorite veteran. Always growing up as a kid, and always knew that my dad, he's a Vietnam veteran. He spent 2 years in Vietnam, and I really don't think that he's really talked about it. And I was so interested to know what he did as part of his service to our country, and 26 years in the Navy on an air-conditioned submarine, eating 3-4 meals a day, never missed a meal. Doesn't measure up to the 4 years you spent in the Army. Along with my stepdad, John, also a Vietnam veteran. My dad, you're my hero. I love you. My most prized possession that I have in this world, which material-wise, is that camouflage blanket that you gave me on the roadside in Wyoming when we ran into each other driving across country. That's my favorite thing in this world. You can ask Alicia. That is my most prized possession. Thank you, Dad. I want to thank my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, Cheryl and Larry. And, when you talk about a veteran or a service member that supports his country, I will tell you there ain't a single one of us that can do it without the support of our family. I think the married in-laws are the most forgotten of the sacrifice that they make to support the veteran that happened, some reason, their daughter fell in love with a sailor, and their fault. And, you know, she's over 18 and she's gonna do what she wants. But I will tell you that I took your daughter away from you before you were ready. It wasn't my fault that I happened to be in Cocoa Beach on a temporary assignment for a couple weeks. And both Alicia and I are intrigued by a sign on a bar/nightclub that says free beer till 11. And you know, the rest is history, but you know, shortly after we met, we met in August, September, probably September. And in January, Alicia jumped on a plane and she went to Washington State. And that was where our life started. So thank you for your support. I appreciate what you do. If you guys, the in-laws are underappreciated. I definitely recognize that support. All right. Now it's time to go to a different tone a little bit, and I'm going to talk about Sam. Sam got to tell funny stories about me, and he kind of alluded to his influence of me, but I will tell you frankly, Sam took a Southern Indiana naive country boy that really believed submarines may have been a mythical creature before I actually served on one. Not just submarine, military naive, world naive, 17 years old, hadn't lived, fresh out of high school. Sam made me the sailor and the man that I am today, and a huge influence on my career. That's what Sea Dads do. I think it's a given right that when you retire, that the Sea Dad should be here. He deserves that right to speak. I'm glad he made the trip down Virginia. Thank you, Sam. You were an inspiration to me, and everything that I did was from you. The other thing that I will tell you that my young division over here, and I got some young guys, you guys will see their part later, but they are connected to Sam through me. A lot of the influence that I give to them derives from you. And your legacy lives on, as I'm sure that my legacy will live through my division and some of my former shipmates that I may have influenced in my career. I will tell you, your legacy lives on. I appreciate it, Sam. Now Conrad back there. Conrad is my lifelong friend. I don't know what happened. We first met in probably early 90s, started becoming friends in the mid 90s, served together for 4 years on the USS Alabama as first classes. Probably one of the hardest jobs that we did, I would say the hardest job that I did in the Navy was learn how to be a first class petty officer and lead a division. But Conrad was there with me. We became family friends. When we moved to Florida back in 2004, I thought that was, going to be it's going to be a short relationship, and we'll see each other when we can. But I moved to Florida, actually lived with him for 4 months in his basement, and a few years later, Conrad retires, and lo and behold, he's got a job in Kings Bay, Georgia, and he lived with me for a few months, a couple times. Conrad, thanks for your friendship. Thanks for your love and support. Thanks for mentoring me over the last 4 months that I've been crazy going into retirement. You give me a peace of mind. Getting together once a week, looking for a house in Maryland. Thank you very much, Conrad. The crew of the Alaska. I have some Alaska crew members. I will tell you, the Alaska Gold crew is the best crew that I've ever served on out of my 26-year career. The reason that is because every sailor on board that ship gets bred a habit and a dedication to always do their best. It's been on the Alaska for years. If anybody's ever served on Alaska, you know what I'm talking about if you've been somewhere else. This crew is special, and I'm going to tell you, it's special. It's not special because of Cobb or the captain or the chief's quarters. It's special because of the deck plate sailors, those guys wearing third-class crows, second-class crows, and first-class crows. You guys are the heartbeat of Alaska. The success the ship has had would not be that way without you. You guys are awesome. All right. I want to thank my MT division. Make a joke and tell them that I'm going to miss explaining the pictures in my notebook. If you've seen my pictures in my notebook, you know what I'm talking about. If you've drew some of those pictures, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to miss that. I'm probably sure I got several notebooks left around that I can take with me and pull out from time to time to get some humor. You know, all the things that Captain Hall talked about with, you know, the Senior Chief Wright way, I think you guys got that. I certainly did. That I had my way of doing things. And I want to thank you guys for adapting to my way of doing business. I know it's different. I definitely do, but I'm going to thank you guys for molding to me. Your potential for the future is limitless. Individually and as a team, you guys, the sky's the limit. I challenge you to strive for excellence. Be the best sailor, be the best missile technician you can be. Continue to motivate and challenge each other. And above all, take care of each other. Take care of each other underway, take care of each other in port. If you go to the bar and have a beer, take care of each other, right? Your shipmate, your sailor, your division mate, take care of each other. Gotta say something about the webs back there. Lieutenant Chester checked on board about the same time that I did. I want to thank you for your friendship. We talk about everything. We talk about my life, his life, kids, my kids, his kids. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being a good listener. Open communication. Thank you for sharing that open communication with me. We can always be on the same page and go forth together. My recommendations for you in the future is to stay organized. Don't forget to follow up. And get a lanyard. You lose your notebook way too much. How we doing? Who's at the pool for when Chad's gonna cry?
I lost.
You lost? All right. The last of this category is, and I want to talk about my fellow chiefs. Probably the most significant milestone in my career was the day that I made Chief Petty Officer. And to be able to function in that role and to fill those shoes is absolutely amazing. The first thing that I realized as being a Chief Petty Officer is you 100% have an influence on people as sailors, on personal lives, on what people do today, tomorrow, and 20 years down the line. That power truly lies as a Chief Petty Officer. I've seen it, I've felt it, and I am honored to have been part of the Chiefs Quarters. You know, one of our mottos is mission first and people always. I'll tell you, that's one of the hardest things to figure out is how to accomplish the mission and take care of the people. The chiefs I've served with, especially the Alaska Gold Chiefs Quarters, they got it right. They know how to accomplish the mission and take care of the people. That's why we're successful. The people is our power. It's not the Chiefs Quarters. It's not the COXO, Commanding Officer Cobb. It is you, the people, and it's the chiefs taking care of those people. I wish you the best in adapting to the changes of the future Navy. That's one thing that has been consistent in my career, and you can guarantee the Navy will change. There will be new policies, And I wish the fellow chiefs in this room the best in adapting to those changes and leading the Navy to the future. Navy Chief!
Navy pride!
Navy Chief!
Navy pride!
Now comes the hard part. Talk about my son, my daughter, and my wife. I will tell you, I could not have done this no way, shape, or form without you. All three of you. Your support has been amazing. I wanted to take this time to recognize you for some of your successes while your father was out punching holes in the ocean, making patrols, doing all the things that Dad did while you guys figured it out. Alex, thank you for your sacrifice. Here's a paddle for you. I know, oh boy, Dad's got another paddle. Son, I'm proud of the young man that you're becoming. I am very proud of your rendition of the national anthem, your talent, your artistic ability, your personality, your genuine heart. There ain't a kid in this world that has a bigger heart than you, and I'm very proud of you. I hope one day to be sitting in the audience when you're standing up here when you retire from the military. I'm very proud of you, son, and I love you. I want to thank my daughter. Flowers, and she's got a little bracelet there. It's got a dandelion on it. She is a true representation of the military child. When you heard that poem read, when they got recognized earlier in the ceremony, my daughter is the most resilient child that I have ever met. She can go with anything. I am very proud of the young adult that you are today. You are extremely motivated, you're dedicated to your goals, and you're intelligent. I can't wait to see you recognized as a nurse. Abby's in her third year of college in nursing school. She's doing well. She doesn't know how to fail. I will tell you that probably one thing that I embarked on her is the inability to fail. It doesn't matter what it is. She doesn't have the ability to fail. I wish you and Cody the best in your lives. I kind of accepted the fact that Cody's going to be a part of it. There's people in the back, Kevin Scarf, one of them can definitely tell you that back in the day there was contemplation in the chief's quarters of Alaska of how to get rid of Cody climbing. But I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you the best. And according to Buck, those grandbabies better be pretty. Both of you guys are good looking, and if the baby comes out ugly, Abby, if you need a place to come back home. Now to my wife. I kind of briefly told you the story of how we met in a bar. And we did. We met in a bar in Cocoa Beach, Florida, because they had a sign out that said free beer to 11. Those of you that know me, I like my beer. I like to drink. I also like to be responsible too. And I'm going to tell each and every one of you guys now, before I forget, don't take the jeopardy of getting yourself in trouble. Don't take the risk. Don't try it. It's not worth it. You may do it 100 times and not get caught. Some of you know I got caught. I got caught back in the mid-90s. It's not fun. I managed to survive a military career, but I don't think anybody today can be as fortunate. Navy was a lot more forgiving back then. So back to my wife. We met by destiny. There was somebody that had some kind of influence on you and I to put us at the same place at the same time in a matter of one moment in time that we were together. You have changed my life. You motivate me to do what I do unbelievable. You're my passion. When I say that you motivate me, when I face something difficult in my life and I gotta man up and make a tough decision and do something hard, the motivation that makes me motivated is that I can't let you down. I have to succeed. You're a proud Navy wife. If you've been to our house, you know that, because everything in my house is United States Navy, submarines. That's her decorations. She's also a second mother to my MT divisions that I've had over the years. So I kind of think all things kind of come around, you know, and I remember our early days and our first patrols back on the Alabama, and I remember that support network of the wives that is called the Underground, that gave you that support, that helped you when you needed it to figure out how to deal with the patrol, how to deal with separation, how to deal with life while your husband is doing something else. Needless to say that you've been dad, you've been mom, you've been taxi driver, you've fixed houses. I don't know how many times that something's been broken, you figured out a way to fix it. You figured out somebody to call, a support network. Kids, Alex. and you dealt with that without me. I couldn't have asked for a better wife to share my life with. I can't wait for the next infinite number of years that we have together. I can't wait to be there to spend some time with you and deal with some problems, because nothing ever breaks when I'm gone. Maybe nothing will ever break anymore.
Some more problems.
I love you. So, kind of in this thought, some advice, you know, being a career submariner, there's certain things that happen on the way on a submarine that I think keep us in check and keep us normal. And Alicia says, Chad, what am I going to do with you all the time? When you're here all the time? You know, what's going to happen when you miss being on a submarine and you miss being underway and you need that reset? You need to be checked. So I got a couple pieces of advice for you, babe. The first one is, you know, if you feel I'm a little weirded out and I need to be reset a little bit, on Sunday morning, put me in the laundry room and let me watch 2 loads of clothes while I sit there and watch it. That might put me back to normal. The other thing, you know, if it happens to be on a Saturday, you know, maybe we have to give me a flashlight and watch you clean the house or something, so I do what I'm used to watching people clean with a flashlight on Saturday morning. And last but not least, and I got a couple EDMCs in here. This one's for you. I know Kevin Scarf knows, but I used to be on the Richter Drills checklist when I was on the Alaska the first time, because I breathe on the starboard non-vital bus. And I think Kevin actually saw the results of when the starboard non-vital bus was secured when I was sleeping with my mask. So, last but not least, if I really need to be reset, just unplug my CPAP and scream out, "Lost the starboard non-vital bus." Well, I think I've rambled on enough. I know everybody said that, you know, I'm going to talk forever. I don't know how long it was. Nobody was poking at me or telling me to stop. Cobb's still back there. He hasn't hit me to push this along. You know, Cobb's moving into his house today. I congratulate him and I thank him for being here at my ceremony on this busy day for him too. That's all I got to say. Thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Alicia, I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senior Chief Wright. USS Elastigirl Strategic Missile Division will now relieve the watch.
For 26 years, this sailor stood the watch. While some of us were in our bunks at night,
This sailor stood the watch.
While some of us were in school learning our trade.
This sailor stood the watch.
Just even before some of us were born into this world.
This sailor stood the watch.
In those years when the storm clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizon of history.
This shipmate stood the watch.
Many times he would cast an eye ashore and see his family standing there,
Needing his guidance and help.
Where is it? Needing that hand to hold during those hard times.
but he still stood the watch.
He stood the watch for 26 years.
He stood the watch so that we, our families, and our fellow countrymen could sleep soundly in safety each and every night, knowing that a sailor stood the watch.
Today, we are here to say,
Shipmate, the watch stands relieved.
Relieved by those you have trained, guided, and led.
shipmate, you stand relieved.
We have the watch.
Thank you, Senior Chief. So in the late 1700s, the U.S. Navy set sail with new ideas, new goals, and a desire to build traditions that would last through the test of time. The U.S. Navy led the way with providing honors for crewmen. The 1800s saw enlisted men holding retirements for enlisted men for the first time. The captain would allow the jolly boat to take the enlisted retiree ashore. Then after the Civil War, commanding officers began to hold enlisted retirement ceremonies to show the crew that he and the Navy recognized the contributions of its enlisted crewmen. Today, our Navy has given most of the pomp and circumstance, the honors, traditions, and ceremonies back to history. Time does not give us the freedom to do these things from the past, but we still have to stop all engines, lay about smartly, and drop anchor and pay homage to one of our shipmates going ashore. To honor the years served, the guidance, the leadership, the friendship, and the expertise that this shipmate has freely given these 26 years. Guests, please rise and remain standing through the end of the ceremony. Captain Gummer will now present Senior Chief Wright with his Fleet Reserve certificate. Senior Chief Wright from them. Fleet Reserve of the United States Navy. This is certified that Senior Chief Missile Technician Submarines Chad Walter Wright was transferred from active duty to the Fleet Reserve of the United States Navy on the 6th day of May, 2016, after 26 years of naval service. This certificate is awarded as a testimonial of faithful and honorable service. Signed, C.M. Gummer, Commanding Officer, USS Elastigirl. Chaplain Higgins will now deliver the benediction.
Would you join me as we pray? Lord, we thank you so much that you gave us Senior Chief Chad Wright. We thank you that you gave him such a wonderful, faithful family. We thank you for the service. We thank you that even as he was part of this great nation and served this great nation, that it's better for him having been part of it. We thank you that even as he was part of the Navy and served this Navy, it's better for him having been part of it. We thank you, Lord, that even as Alicia and Alex and Abby were part of his